Lazerboy, what is the secret of your powers?
Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Lazerboy podcast, episode 17, Hollywood Shifting. I'm your host, the Lazerboy, and I'm here with my co-host, Dat Nguyen. How you doing, Dat?
Pretty good, Joe. Hey, thanks for having us on again.
Oh yeah, of course, man. It's been a while since I've talked to you, so it's good to have you. It's good to be both back on again and talking about the current state of the film industry. So yeah, let's before we get into our discussion, let's you guys can find more of episodes at thelazerboy.wordpress.com and email us at thelazerboyblogger@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram at thelazerboy, Lazerboy with a Z, and we have a bunch of new home theater posts up there that Dat uh, wrote. So those are some great pieces. I hope you guys check those out, especially in these times where we can't go to the theater anymore. So we might as well have some home theater gear, right? Is that right, Dat?
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what we're gonna try to cover today, and that's what's kind of been on mind lately, especially with the current news. But I want to go over a little bit of some of the posts that I put up.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Okay, so well, before we get into that, Joe, just the main thing on my mind and when I called you about and kind of set up this conversation was just about what I think might be kind of a big critical, pivotal like turning point, which is right now is the Disney announcement of Mulan coming to Disney Plus next month. Are you aware of the details?
Yeah. Saw it on the Slash film blog and a bunch of others. So yeah, it's huge news right now. Breaking news a couple days ago, I
What was your
guess.
initial like knee jerk reaction to it?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, everything's gonna be dropped on VOD these days because, I mean, they paid enough for the marketing. They had a marketing campaign for that. I believe around January, February. I remember seeing a lot of trailers for it like before Rise of Skywalker. So it's like they either have to like eat that and like and do another campaign, marketing campaign later when when they release it officially again, or actually release it, or just like eat that marketing campaign and just try something new. And they're saying it's just a one-time thing, but from the articles I've read, it seems like it'll be a one-time thing unless it's really successful, right?
Yeah.
So what are the
Right.
details? It's rental for about like $29.95, something like that, and you need on top of you needing a Disney Plus membership. Is that correct?
Yeah, partially correct. So it is you're right about the requiring a active Disney Plus account,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a one-time $30 fee, but you do own it,
Oh,
and
you
you
own it.
retain ownership and viewership as long as you retain a Disney Plus account.
I see.
Yeah, so it's a little bit better than a rental. Um, so yeah, I thought initially that seemed quite steep, but before we get into kind of the more of the details, yeah, you're right about that, and my reaction was kind of torn, kind of 50-50. I see, this comes on the success in the heels of the Hamilton release,
Mm-hmm.
that got put on Disney Plus, and I think they were trying to hold off on that for a while, and that was I think a pretty big success for them. I mean, obviously, like Netflix and other streaming platforms, Disney does need more content. I mean, obviously, Mandalorian has been the biggest thing for them, and then their catalog of Marvel and Star Wars and Disney releases. But they definitely need, much more content. And I believe Mandalorian's coming out in October, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm correct. And but right now, they have to justify, the active subscriptions because, with all the other competitors and with the amount of releases they have, they
Yeah.
gotta, they do have to put out something, something that will grab the headlines. The $30, yeah, I feel is pretty steep, but the one thing that I thought about was the audience, and so the ones that are who are subscribing mainly and keeping Disney Plus, I think, are like families,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the value comes from I mean, I don't have kids, but from what I'm told, kids really like to watch like material over and over again. I
Right,
think if you
right.
ask some parents, they'll tell you that like they're their kids watching like Frozen 2 um, 20, 40 times or something like that, just because they I guess really love repeat viewings,
Right,
and
and for the
so
parents, it's like a babysitter. Like they
yeah,
keep it
yeah,
on, and they
precisely.
don't have to do anything for a couple hours.
Yeah, and something like Mulan. I mean, I don't know if it's has that same appeal like as like Frozen 2 or
Yeah, it's like more of a
other
prestige
cartoons.
drama type of
But
offering.
it's a good I say it's a good bet. I mean, it's a good attempt though at something new. I mean, obviously they recoup a lot of their money. $30 a pop is still pretty significant.
Hmm.
But then obviously you're gonna have to deal with
Yeah,
the
pirating.
pirators. Yeah, yeah. But as far as for the most families who just want the access, I mean, I feel that it's a big enough title that it will work. But overall, I don't think that it's gonna like really unleash a new trend. Especially for
Yeah,
like
it's a good thing to test the waters, and I also think it's a good like uh, 2 tier kind of marketing. It's like for people who don't have a Disney Plus subscription, it'll get them to to get more subscribers and as well as pay the extra 30. But yeah, $30 to me seems like it seemed to me steep at first, but when I think about and all the blogs have covered this, but when I think about the production budget of Mulan, which is like 200 million, and then I mentioned the marketing, which is they already paid for, which was probably around 100 to 200 million as well. Like they need to make their money back from a business standpoint. It just makes sense, to get your money back for all those the high budget
you think
for both of that.
you think as opposed to maybe just releasing it like March of next year? You mean just just holding on to it?
Oh, yeah, they could do that as well, which I think they might. Well, they're gonna really. We'll talk about Tenant later, but
Yeah.
I think they're just worried about its relevance, right? It's like, oh, we already marketed it, and then if it comes out next year, people are gonna be like, oh, that's an old movie from last year. What are you talking about? They're just worried about its relevance, right? But I guess we're in uncharted waters because nothing's being released this year anyway. So it's like, yeah, why do that? But again, like it's a good kind of pilot for them to like again to just test out the waters, So they'll see how successful it is, and if it's really successful, I think they might do this for the rest of their releases for the year. But if it fails miserably, I think they might just do what you mentioned and just hold on to their releases for next year.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big enough title. I mean, I honestly, it's not like a Black Widow where you have this huge, built-in fan base. I don't know how many people or what audiences are going for with Mulan, other than just general family and the fans of the ones who want to see the classics and live action. Because this is not like a Lion King or something, or like a big um, kind of one of their bigger titles or of their re-releases.
I
Because I
mean,
always kind of saw a smaller title.
on paper, yeah, it seems like it might not be, but Disney fanboys don't underestimate the power of Disney fandom because like all of their like animated properties that they've made live action have done, aside from like I don't know, like Pete's Dragon or something, or I don't know if you could call it that. Yeah, I guess it is, but it wasn't had like a
But there was the
big
Lady and the
fanfare for
Tramp
that,
that was a Disney Plus release.
right?
I think right in the beginning.
And like the Nutcracker or something, but that's like not. Again, that's like it doesn't pop when you mention that
Yeah. Well,
title.
even Lion King somewhat flopped, right? Well, not flop, but didn't
Oh no, it made
do
like a
hardly
billion
as
dollars.
well. I guess flop compared to Disney standards. I
Oh
don't think
hell
they did like
no,
a
I don't
gazillion
think so.
dollars. Like
No way. No, that was one of
no.
the most successful movies of 2019. What are you talking about? I
Wow,
think
really?
yeah.
Okay, maybe just I'm thinking from a critical
Maybe you're
standpoint.
yeah. I think you were just let down from a critical standpoint. But yeah, it made bank, man. I don't know where you're getting your information from that, but
Okay. Oh, okay. I
um,
guess I'm just comparing it to the staggering profits of like Marvel movies and whatnot.
I think Aladdin didn't do that well. But I mean, no, it did like I don't think it made 1 billion worldwide, but it made substantial money to at least warrant a sequel. So
But that's why
I
we
didn't have a
brought the
lot of fun with
comparison to
Aladdin.
something like Black Widow. Like like Mulan is a lesser property compared to something like Black Widow, and I don't think they're using it as a pilot in a way, maybe for Black Widow, but they
Okay.
wouldn't do the other way around. They wouldn't do Black Widow first, as a pilot
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for something like Mulan. Yeah, that's how I kind of see it. And Hamilton maybe also was a
Oh
similar
yeah, yeah,
experience.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was also kind of a testing ground movie. I was just kind of worried that with all the COVID xenophobia that people were gonna like harass like Asian American moviegoers when Mulan came out. That I mean, I honestly
Oh
was
man, no,
worried
you're
about
right.
that. I
Yeah,
was thinking about
yeah.
that a lot. So maybe they didn't want to do that because of that too. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
I think the biggest thing is the Disney Plus. They also put out Onward and Frozen 2 really early on their releases.
right,
Um,
yeah,
and that has to do with trying to really push the subscription service.
yeah,
And I mean, if they didn't charge the $30, then I mean that would have been huge. That would have been like this massive push for a lot of people trying it. Because then it would lead into it would have been better if they let it into Mandalorian though. Because after Mulan, then it's another 2 months though of like people just dropping the service, right? Until something comes along that gives them some value.
yeah.
But yeah, it's something that I think we should watch. So one of the reactions I saw on video, and I kind of want to move over to for the theater chains, right? So
Hmm.
there's a video of I think a French theater owner, and he said he was trying to been push Mulan forever. He had this giant billboard case. I mean, maybe you can plug in the video, right here, and then the audience can look at it. But he basically took a baseball bat and just ripped down the cardboard display. But he
Of
did it
what?
kind of
Of
like in a
Mulan?
passive aggressive, semi-angry way of saying like this is gonna kill me because if I don't have any movies to release, then I'm not gonna be around anymore.
He
You know,
tore down the poster for Mulan.
but in his own theater, yeah,
Oh,
like a
okay.
huge cardboard, like a
Oh
ten
yeah,
feet
like
wide
the
cardboard
display. Yeah, yeah,
display.
yeah, yeah. The pop up, whatever it's called.
Right, exactly. Just something that Disney sent him for promotion, and but I guess for him, I mean, that was gonna be a 2-3 months moneymaker, right? To
Yeah,
have family come in,
yeah,
and
yeah.
long that's a nice long term movie that you can rely on. So no, so that to me, I think that was kind of a slap in the face. I guess if you are a theater owner, a theater exhibitor, and I'm sure they're really leaning on Tenet, which I want to get to next as well, and what kind of pressure that puts on. But do you think that I mean, yeah, if you keep going this direction, I mean, it shifts the power, I guess, or shifts much of the focus onto the platforms, and something like this does indicate that could this be a critical shift? Is this a paradigm shift in terms of more power from you know exhibitors to the home platforms? What are your thoughts?
I don't really understand the question. Can you simplify that?
Yeah. So Mulan was supposed to be in theaters, but it didn't get released there, and now they're upset because it's never going to be released in theaters because it's coming to Disney Plus, which strengthens the digital platforms but weakens the profits of exhibitors. Do you agree with that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, because there's nothing they can do about it. It's just what they have to evolve with, what they have to adapt to, right? Um,
Right.
I don't think they're wrong. They're just they have to eat it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Do you think that's going to mean like Do you think that represents a big shift that a lot of theaters are going to go down because of these studio moves?
yeah, absolutely. And then we don't know what's gonna happen, but maybe in the future, like studios might own theater chains now. So a
Hmm.
lot of these like I don't know if mom and pop is the right word, but a lot of these like smaller theater chains won't be around anymore. So of course, yeah, it's gonna be game changing for sure. But going back, thinking about Tenet being in the news for so long, and how it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's pushed back again, uh, pushed back from July to August, now from August to September. Now
Mm-hmm.
September is only going to be internationally released. Um, I kind of think that that's low key like ingenious marketing by Warner's because they're always in the news. It's like it hasn't been released yet, but we're still talking about like I look at comments on like blogs,
Mm-hmm.
like film blogs, and they're always like, "Oh, just push it, just release it next year already," and it's over. Like it's not going to be released this year.
Mm-hmm.
But what those people are doing, they're probably not aware of it. They are marketing the movie still. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
We're still talking about Tenet.
Yeah.
So it's it's kind of genius,
I mean,
low key marketing
personally,
by
I'm
WB.
yeah. Personally, I'm feeling this like tenant fatigue,
Yeah,
and that I'm yeah, my interest is waning because I'm not going to hold out, for any kind of imminent release. But it is interesting that the biggest advocate for theatrical presentation
yeah,
happens to be Christopher Nolan, and it happens to be almost a movie that's going to save theaters, right?
yeah,
Because Nolan's not at all going to have this movie released on home video. Warner Brothers is not even in a discussion of that, and so they're going to push forward with a theatrical release. And I am glad that it is a Nolan movie, that's kind of like caught in the whirlwind of this battle between
yeah, yeah, yeah.
COVID, home on. I mean, obviously this new platform that we have that circumvents all that. I mean, I kind of wish we went back to drive-in theaters. Honestly, I feel like that's the answer.
Yeah, yeah.
To
Or
have a
here, let me.
communal.
This it made me
Yeah.
think of this proposition real quick. What do you think about? I know it's probably not feasible, but because like it's such a once in a lifetime kind of experience, right? Christopher Nolan movie um,
Hmm.
I'm mentioning, but like you can't replicate an IMAX experience at home ever, right? Even if you have the open mat format. Um, so, what do you think about this idea? I know it's probably like unrealistic, but what if like they rented out like a smaller private IMAX theater for like up to 2 to 15 people, and it's like $100 a head? I don't know if this. Do you think that's would be feasible? I don't know.
Or like a VIP, like a premium experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because like I don't know what the electric bill is because for the projector and for the film projector and the sound system and all that, but I don't know, $100 a person. Do you think that would cover the costs?
No, I don't. That'll be just catered to a very, very niche audience. I mean, they
Yeah,
have to worry
okay.
about the piracy. You also have to open up the whole theater, and
Well,
every state right now
the
has.
piracy could be easily just have them sign an NDA or something, but you're right.
Yeah, too little bit too much. Yeah, too many barriers for like because they want to open. Also remember the spirit is that communal experience, not 10 or 15 people, but supposed to be like 100.
Yeah.
Watching a theater together, and I think that that's supposed to be what goes along with the big picture and the big sound and all that. And so I just yeah I love it. I love the idea, but as far as profitability, scalability,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't see how it's realistic.
Unrealistic.
The best thing, yeah,
Well,
the
if
best
you
thing to do
want
right now is what's that?
Well, if you want to buy a IMAX private theater, if you shell out 500,000, $500,000, you can own one yourself. So I'm looking at a
Oh,
private,
that's happening right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah, that's
at a
happening right now. I think
IMAX
it's called
private
like
theater right
VIP
now.
cinema. It's just they do like I think it was a couple $1,000s at where they do small screenings for you and your friends. I mean the
No, I mean
celebrities, the
you could
people,
build one in
tons
your
of
house.
money. Oh, you're talking about this a real true home theater.
Yeah, you could just
But
build
how
a
do you have
five
access to the
hundred
movie
thousand
though?
dollar.
Yeah, but you still need you see Warner Brothers will send you a
Yeah,
copy or
for the
something like that.
low price of $500,000.
Wait, is that real
It's
or
real, yeah, yeah. I'm looking.
oh really?
If you look up IMAX private theater, I
Yeah.
mean, you got to be like a celebrity or something to for that to be realistic. But like, yeah, you could do that. I was just half
Jeez.
joking though, but
Right, okay. There's some we don't hear about it, but I'm sure there's some that go to those lengths. That's
yeah,
if you're a big enough fan, and it's like I said, a one kind of a once in a lifetime experience. Well, I mean, to bring it to Inception, right? So I guess if you missed it 10 years ago,
Yeah.
you have your chance of. Oh yeah, and also we saw. Weren't you and I there for the IMAX presentation for The Dark Knight when it
Yeah,
was?
the Dark Knight 10th anniversary. We went
Yeah,
2 years
yeah,
ago for the City Walk. Yeah, that was a great. I remember that.
yeah, incredible. Yeah,
I've
much
I've
as I've
never
seen
seen
that
it on
movie,
a
it's
on a
the
real
experience.
IMAX screen, so
What's that?
I've never seen the Dark Knight on a real IMAX screen. I saw it on a Limax screen.
Oh, okay. For those who don't know, IMAX being the kind of like the smaller version, more compact
Yeah,
version of the
exactly.
true IMAX experience. Yeah, no, that was those experiences are always incredible, and having yeah, being able to watch Tenet like that
Yeah.
is
So
a very rare opportunity.
right. Well, before we move on to the next topic, let me ask you this. One last thing about Tenet. Do you feel safe enough right now to go out in the theater to watch a movie, even a movie like Tenet?
Yeah, because I've been going out a lot. I've been taking some kind of high risks. I mean, I even went to the gym in the 2 weeks that they were open. I mean, I see the procedures on how companies and whatever and stores have done for cleaning and for their employees. So I personally, yeah, I would feel it out first. I mean, somewhere in COVID, and yeah, don't even. But for me, I don't live with anybody who's vulnerable,
Okay.
and I've been tested because I was close enough to somebody who was positive, and
Oh, okay.
I didn't come out positive, but I kind of put it out there that it's risky, like it's
Yeah.
risky to dine out and stuff. So personally, no. I mean, I'd 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 be a little bit irritated about having to wear a mask the whole time. I believe some of the policy in the theaters is that you can take off the mask if you are drinking or eating popcorn, which I'd probably just buy so I don't have to.
Yeah.
I'll just eat really slowly so I don't have to put a mask on. And just some, massive safety situations, but I would be glad because it'd be hopefully a very small theater,
Yeah.
but or a small amount of patrons. But if they opened it, I mean, it's a massive movie, and people want to go back to normal lives. So I bet it'd be full. It'd be like 50% capacity,
Okay.
but it'd
Yeah.
be full. But so
Yeah. I
me
don't.
personally,
I
not
mean,
really.
personally, I
How about
wouldn't
you?
do that. But I mean, I if they released it on VOD, which is highly unlikely, if they did that now, I would rent it now, and if they re-released it next year when it's safe to go in theaters again, I would still do that as well. So, but that's just me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're kind of much more diehard fans.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. My thing was I'd pay $50 for a 24-hour rental. That's how much I'd pay. That would be my. Yeah, I could watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
That's I kind of and because
Just have it
right
on a
now I'm
loop.
outfitting my apartment living room with a pseudo home theater, and so that would be worth it to me. And that's kind of where the video on demand to me is not a bad thing because I'm not watching it on my phone. I'm
Yeah.
watching it on a projector
Yeah.
and with a
Exactly.
surround sound system. So, and a lot of people are a lot. I know right now a lot of people are investing in them. Those who've been
Yeah.
on the
Yeah. Yeah.
fence, and so that's kind of what I want to get to.
Yeah.
Moving forward, the next topic.
And hopefully our
Do
listeners
you have?
will be influenced to get a home theater as well. Just don't do what Dad would do and put it on a loop if you have neighbors, because you're gonna get the cops called on you really quick.
Oh yeah, or just pounding on the door. I mean, that's that's a common staple here at this unit, at this complex. But yeah, Joe. I mean, have you? I know I posted up a couple articles and stuff. Have you been thinking about doing a refresh on your own theater?
Yeah, but not right now because I'm unemployed, so I can't afford it.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a huge uh, reason. But yeah, I'd love to. Maybe I'll do it like because this is what I did before. I did it like piece by piece. Like
Hmm.
again, thank you for the inspiration. But in 2013, but I did it like I got the 5.1 speakers first. I hooked it up and like hooked up my turntables too because I'm a DJ, and just used it for like audio, and then later when I could afford it, I bought a projector, and then later I bought projector screen. So I bought it like piece by piece. I didn't buy everything in bulk. So
Yeah.
if I do something like that now, that's how I'll probably do it. I'll probably just like upgrade one by one. I'll upgrade my sub first, which I probably need to do because my base isn't really earth shattering anymore to me. I'm like kind of used to it. So
Yeah.
I'd love to have like a second sub or
Uh,
just like a more powerful one, and then I'll upgrade to like a 4K projector or something because I have a bunch of 4K titles that I still haven't seen yet because I don't have a 4K TV or a 4K capable Blu-ray player. So that's what I would
oh,
do.
nice. Okay. Little
Yeah.
future proofing. Yeah. How
Yeah,
many titles do you
exactly.
got so far?
Oh, I stopped buying after I was unemployed, but I still have like I don't know. I want to say like 50 to 70. I know I have like the big ones. I have like all the Marvel. I always bought like the newest Marvel titles. I always bought the newest Star Wars titles. So all of like the big like
In 4K?
in 4K. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, so 50 to 70 4K title. Oh, okay. So you transition over to the 4K combos because it came with the Blu-ray, and you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wanted to have the
Yeah.
4K. Oh, nice.
Exactly.
Okay. I thought you had like maybe like 10 of them or something, but I ended up
No,
you had
no, no, no.
like 50 plus for it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great then. So then if you do get a 4K display, then it would be nice to revisit all these movies that you already invested in.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Rewatching them
Yeah.
high res. Okay, well, I'm going to help you with that. I mean, when the time comes, again, that's how everyone should build slowly, one piece at a time, kind of the most critical pieces, and then as budget allows, replace it.
Hmm.
Because you already have everything. It's just a
Hmm.
matter of replacing
Upgrade.
the
Yeah,
ones,
yeah.
basic
Upgrading. Yeah, yeah,
subwoofer,
yeah.
yeah, and then maybe center speaker and whatnot.
And now that you've written such extensive blog posts, I don't even need you. I just look at the blog posts. Just
There you go.
cut out the
Who needs
middleman.
me? Oh yeah. Well, did you find them? I didn't. I never really got to ask your opinion. Did you find them as interesting
Absolutely.
reads? I mean, because
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
I again, thank you again for writing those posts. But and it's great because you have one for like every tier. You have one for like the budget, and I probably I wrote like a budget one, and you wrote a budget one for like middle class like blue collar working America, and then you have
yeah.
like the upper tier for like people who want to splurge a bit more and maybe just want to treat themselves a bit more. So
Mhm.
I'm glad that you wrote one for like every kind of class society or something like that. You know what I mean? You wrote one for every
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
working
different
class.
budgets, but yeah, now you can get so much more on a budget like 10 years ago. I mean,
Oh yeah, sure, yeah,
adjusted for inflation, but you just get a lot more. The quality of the kind of like level law of diminishing returns, I think, kind of kicks in much earlier,
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
compared to before. Yeah, so I'm glad. Oh yeah, I mean, I've been in it for a long time, so it's kind of hard to look at it from a like maybe beginners, you know, getting into it with not a lot of money to spend, but then better than a sound bar, better than your TV speakers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've been itching to have you come over to listen to audition in my the current theater, with outfitted with a lot of major upgrades
Yeah, I'd love to.
last year or so.
Probably next
But
year
yeah, yeah, exactly when the time comes.
when we have a
Um,
vaccine, I'll come over.
but yeah, I did want to, so the next time these other titles that have come out that in a way have kind of continued that push for the strengthening the online platforms, kind of top tier, semi top tier titles. Here's a list of some titles that have been coming out to digital platforms or streaming services lately that I've, that's kind of caught my attention. Some I've seen as well. We'll start with the Extraction, the Chris Hemsworth movie that came out on Netflix.
Hmm.
Did you actually see that one?
I haven't, but it's on my queue, and I've been meaning to watch it.
I would say that's probably right now the top of the list for me for these type of release. Pretty big budget, very well done, very action oriented. Not Again, it's a movie that I would enjoy it in theaters, quite a bit. But I enjoyed this kind of quality at home. It's kind of the first time we've been giving kind of a blockbuster level movie with um, you could say like leading man or A list quality actor, for a dedicated home release.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
before that, we
that's my
had
favorite.
Six Underground, right, with Ryan Reynolds, the Michael Bay flick.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's another one. Definitely, I was thinking about that too as I was talking. But yeah, that one I didn't care for so much. But it is a Michael Bay movie, and
Yeah.
I mean, definitely would have been a smash hit
Opening
theatrically as
sequence was
well.
awesome with Dave Franco.
That's a great cast. I mean, I
Yeah.
did like, it's Michael Bay's fingerprints all over it. And it's totally his type of movie. And it didn't seem unrestrained at all by a budget, right?
Yeah.
Did you get that same feel?
Yeah, I got that. And also, there was no restrictions running time wise either. It was like 2.5 hours. It's like way too
Right, right.
long.
And so that leads me to another similar movie, the more recent movie, the Old Guard,
Hmm.
with Charlize Theron. I had pretty somewhat high expectations for it because again, I feel it's Netflix should be raising the bar. They've had some pretty stellar hits. Again, another one we talked about recently, The Five Blood, with Spike Lee, recent movie. And I thought that was well done. Again, unrestricted budget, unrestricted runtime.
Right.
Um, could favor or disservice the movie, depends on who you ask. But Old Guard I found to be mildly enjoyable, but nothing top tier. And I don't know if my impressions are somewhat colored by the fact that it is a home release,
Hmm.
as opposed to theatrical. Because remember, Joe, when we grew up, there's a lot of straight to video movies. When we had brick and mortar stores like Blockbuster and the local video store,
Yeah.
and there's tons of movies that came out that had almost no marketing and had C list actors, and if it wasn't in theaters, it was almost mediocre. It was
Yeah.
like you
Right.
gotta set your bar really low. Would you say that's um, a pattern or what you experienced growing up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And so it's a weird time that we're living on now that it's indistinguishable that these home video releases, straight to Netflix releases, are just like theatrical quality. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and that's something that I'm barely getting used to because that model has still been going on before Netflix really. That theatrical releases for the most part, these huge tentpole movies. Clearly, I mean, look at what Disney's doing with Marvel and Star Wars. People have the appetite to want to go out to theaters, even with stuff like Old Guard or Six Underground came out, I think this year, but before COVID for sure.
yeah, it was like
Yeah,
January, maybe even December.
yeah, yeah, maybe yeah, late 2019, but definitely before March. And so it's slowly transitioning, and that's why I thought it was interesting that now Mulan, which Disney's been holding kind of tight to the chest, I thought would be just released later on once theaters open, but they got a platform to push, and kind of makes sense that they got to allocate some of their investment, box office wise, and others they got to invest more into their platform. But yeah, all these platforms, I mean, so we got the major players, Hulu, Prime, and Netflix. Other movies I've seen recently, there's the release of Palm Springs. It's a kind of romantic comedy based on a Groundhog's Day, playing looping the same day. Um, Really well written. Well, again, these lower budget movies, the ones that are, to me, like I would have thoroughly enjoyed that in the theaters. I
Hmm.
would have been quite happy.
Yeah,
That's like a
yeah,
gem of a movie, for kind of an indie that's really, kind of character and story based. Doesn't rely on any kind of big names. I think that one had what's his name, Andy Samberg. I mean, I won't say he's like a top tier name there, but some good releases, some just solid releases that um, again I'd love to see in theaters. I mean, these are more independent based, and I think that's where the platforms will really excel. Outside of these big Netflix tentpoles, I guess you can call them, or massive budget movies. But slowly these, I feel like the battle is going to be kind of won slowly, right? With these smaller movies that I think could be possible cult classics in the future, but we'll eventually find an audience because just maybe through word of mouth and its accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
But between those and then the bigger movies, a lot will shift towards towards these platforms.
Yeah, it just seems more like the mid-budget film, which is dying already in the first place. Like obviously, like A24, those kind of movies that have a hard time finding a budget from major studios because they're not, feasible. They're not gonna get a lot of return on investment because they're
Mhm.
not huge tentpole blockbusters, right? So a lot of studios are very hesitant to bank on those. So they need to find niche like studios and distribution um, people like A24. Those
Mhm.
have an easy time just going to VOD, right? Like a great example is the Aaron Sorkin film. It's like another like a courtroom drama starring I believe Joseph Gordon-Levitt and a bunch of other names. It's a great. It was something I was looking forward to seeing in theaters, right? And that's gonna
Mhm.
be released on VOD. Like so, movies like that are like mid-budget. Obviously, those are gonna like no second thought. Those are just gonna be released VOD, Netflix, streaming. But I think when it comes to something like Mulan and Black Widow, obviously they're gonna have to find another approach to it, which is what they're doing, obviously with Mulan. So yeah, we're gonna see more of that. We're gonna continue that trend for the rest of the year. So it's gonna be fascinating to see how that plays out.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah, you're right. 84 does a good job of like cultivating specific movies for their audience, right? They support these creators that put out these movies that kind of need this push to find the gear towards a more, I guess, more I don't know, highbrow crowd. I guess
Yeah.
more art house type. So it gives them it gives them good the right exposure, just like how the Criterion Collection does for home releases and
Hmm.
foreign and obscure movies. So yeah, so those movies kind of naturally fall into nice home releases because you don't need the big marketing push and all that. So that makes sense. But yeah, I was just I'm kind of trying to think about what about a movie like a Wes Anderson movie? So is that a big movie, or do you find that to be not a
No,
lot?
it's gonna have uh, its niche audience for sure. All the Wes Anderson fans, but what's the budget for that? Maybe like 50 mil at the most, maybe 20, 30. That could be easily pushed to streaming. But
Mm.
I know Wes Anderson. I don't know. He's not as big as like Christopher Nolan, but he probably does like the art of movie going as well. So I know he's a huge cinephile.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think that could possibly be released on VOD or streaming?
See, that's the thing. It's not as easy as A24 because it's
Yeah,
still kind of it has like star power.
yeah,
It has a lot of marketing push usually behind it. Studio definitely wants it in theaters. The audiences generally want to watch it in theaters as
yeah,
well.
for sure. Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
have that kind of
yeah. That's a
again
tricky one.
communal experience for his type of movies. So that's what I mean. That's when you talk about kind of no man's land. You said there's like a divide now, right, between like
Hmm.
big tent poles and indies,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of now even further separated. But
Hmm.
then when you have a Wes Anderson movie, it's not. I mean, it is kind of a more top tier because of how well known it is. But again, it's not exceeding $50 million.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
marketing budget can actually exceed its
Sure.
production
Yeah,
budget,
absolutely.
you know. And then it's like, well, we're not going to do that for a home release
Uh huh.
unless Netflix going to buy it for $100 million.
Yeah.
So that movie gets kind of stuck, right? Where it's better just to hold on to it, I guess, and wait till COVID ends because COVID will have an ending. It's just a matter of then theaters are always going to be out there, but I'm going to see there's going to be a much more, again, more consolidation, like you talked about. Just a couple theaters that are just going to be the big ones.
But if that Aaron Sorkin film is going to be released on streaming, which has a ton of star power as well, but which is probably more talky, obviously, because Sorkin loves his dialogue, and it's more of kind of like a courtroom drama chamber piece. But yeah, I don't know. I could see it being released on streaming, but I prefer not to, obviously. But yeah,
How do you know? I mean, I'm not. I don't see why not. Why some smaller exhibitors might just play these movies in theaters later, because some people might not even knew they were on a streaming platform. You know,
Yeah.
it would be cheap enough for them to say, "Hey, look, we're going to be playing this Aaron Sorkin movie, limited engagement for like a month." You know, the local audiences might be like, "Oh yeah, you know, I haven't seen that. I'd rather go out and see that rather than try to watch it on my cell phone or my crappy TV or whatever on my computer." And so
Yeah,
it's still,
I
you know,
definitely think,
yeah.
yeah, we're in uncharted territory, and I definitely think exhibitors will be open to re-releasing later for sure. So we could probably, more than likely, we'll see that train when theaters,
Mm,
if and when theaters open up sometime next year, maybe at the end of the year.
yeah.
But I know you wanted to do this segment before we end the show, but I wanted to ask you real quickly. You and I are always on top of the Criterion sales for
Hmm.
the Barnes and Nobles every July and November. I've been kind
Yeah.
of off of it for a while, but I was curious. Did you pick anything up this July, or did you want anything you
I
wanted to pick up?
It's interesting you brought that up. I was in a Barnes and Noble store, you know, a
They're
physical
open?
one. Yeah, yeah, they're open. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're the one in Irvine Spectrum.
Oh, nice.
You know, they're most of those stores are open. They're all considered as an outdoor mall. So
Oh,
malls are closed, but it's outdoors. No, I went straight into the Criterion section. I
nice.
looked through some releases. I was gonna pick up the Bruce Lee collection. I was thinking about that
Mm.
one. But I did hold in my hand. You said picked up. I physically did pick up Marriage Story, and I was holding it in my hand. And then I was like kind of on the fence about getting it because you can just watch it in 4K on
On
Netflix right
Netflix.
now. Yeah, but the special features look, you know, interesting.
Oh yeah,
And
that's a
then
thing we never
yeah,
mentioned that
and then my
VOD does
wife
not
kind of
have.
scared
Yeah.
because she left her cell phone you know, at another store that we left. So I just dropped it and we went to go search it. You know,
Yeah.
happy ending. The cell phone was retrieved, but
Okay.
my purchase did not follow through.
Okay, so a
I'm
couple of titles.
sorry.
Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah.
I definitely want to pick up as well the Bruce Lee collection, Marriage Story, and I also wanted to pick up Grand Budapest Hotel, and I believe it was Elephant Man. Yeah, they're on a huge David Lynch kick right now. When I'm talking about Criterion Collection. So,
Yeah.
any other titles that are like kind of prevalent right now that we might want to suggest to our listeners?
On Criterion, I mean, I have to kind of look at the list, but you know, you know, I don't remember anything like being so pressing where I was like, oh man, I gotta get my hands on
Uh,
that.
the
Um,
Godzilla collection, maybe.
which one?
The Godzilla collection.
Not for me personally. I
Okay.
mean, I wouldn't have picked that up. I mean, but then again, you know, this is going back to when you and I took advantage of those
Of
days
the
of ten
coupons.
dollar per title. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, that was never to be replicated again. But and that has kind of diminished, you know, the amount of pickups that I would normally do. I mean, I would easily drop $100 on 10 titles, but you know, to drop like $40 on two kind of meh titles, especially if they're, you know,
Available on
viewable at
Netflix.
home.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know. Another thing that bothers me, Joe, is that Criterion has not, you know, obviously adopted the 4K format,
Yeah, exactly.
and you know, I'm fully on board with 4K, and I want to see movies at its highest quality. Case in point, I've been talking about my viewing of Lawrence of Arabia. You know, the recently Sony Classics re-releases in 4K, and it's stellar. I mean, it looks. I almost feel like it's movie theater quality in a sense that it's, you know, you can see the film print so well, the you know, the retention of detail, and it almost made me kind of nostalgic for the cinema just because
Hmm.
it has such a that cinematic feel because
Hmm.
of the grain structure perfectly intact and everything, and it made me kind of just you know, kind of just hungry for more like classic movies, and then I just look at the Criterion collection, I see their 4K transfers,
Yeah, but they're still
but
in
I know the
1080. A meager 1080. That's like, what is that? What are we? What are we, primitives now?
yeah, exactly. Living in the Stone Age or something, archaic
No,
times. But
but for
supposedly, supposedly most of Criterion sales still come from DVDs.
oh wow, that's
If you could believe it or not,
DVDs.
that's it makes up
Jesus.
like I think like 60 or 70% of their sales DVDs. So they're not going to be carrying three SKUs, you know, a DVD, a Blu-ray, and a 4K.
Yeah,
You know, they're not going to be able to
yeah,
have
I could see that
volume
because
levels. Yeah,
I could see like a lot of Criterion collection fans. They're more like they still have like VHS. You know, they're kind of like retro tech, and they're like, oh, we want to go back. They still play like cassette tapes, you know, and they play vinyl. So that's the kind of niche audience that they have. But for our listeners, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Criterion Collection usually have a sale at Barnes and Noble every July and November. So you guys can check that out. But let's end the show with you wanted to do your best and worst segment.
Oh well, one last thing before we jump off. Yeah, another candidate I wanted to put out there was this movie called The Outpost that I
Okay.
just saw earlier tonight, and it's a prime example of a movie that would have been an incredible experience in theaters because of how much production went into like capturing war scenes. It's closest to like Black Hawk Down. For anyone who hasn't seen it or not aware, it's a war movie based on Afghanistan 09, a real outpost. Has Scott Eastwood in it, who actually did a pretty good job. But yeah, there's some great cinematography, great scenes that I thought on my system were awesome. With the bullets flying and the surround sound, the explosions and all that. So yeah, if you guys want a movie to see, if you guys have a decent system at home, you guys have like a 65-inch TV or something, a decent surround sound. It's a good pickup. It's on sale right now for $9.99 on iTunes. It's in 4K. It's kind of unfortunate. That movie would have done well in theaters. Honestly, it would fit that category you know I'm talking about in the middle, where not quite an indie like A24, not quite a big blockbuster movie, and it needs a theater to kind of do a little push. Kind of like a alternate movies that people what they call alternative viewing. Something that you don't want to go to the theaters to see the big stuff, but you want to see like a quality, a decently, um, you know, non-fiction based type movie. So
Yeah.
that's a good one. That's a nice one I got to watch earlier, and that I'd recommend.
Cool. Yeah, I'll list that in the show notes. That's The Outpost, starring Scott Eastwood. So cool. Shall we end the show with the your best and worst segment? That's we're gonna do kind of like a little trivia game where we list. You want to explain it?
Yeah. It's kind of this is stolen from like another podcast, but they always kind of end the show on a best and worst for actors.
Okay.
Right? So for example, like Tom Hanks, who has a quite a large filmography.
Mm-hmm.
It was four different people would kind of just throw out their favorite movie of Tom Hanks, and then his arguably his career worst,
Okay.
which could be someone else's favorite though.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know just off the top of your head because
Yeah,
Joe, you're unaware of this format, but I
Yeah,
thought
I'm
we
completely
kinda-
improvising. So
yeah.
let's get into it. Dive right into it.
I know you have the biggest heart on for Steven Soderbergh. So how about we just not actors, but let's go with directors because
Okay,
Soderbergh,
yeah.
I would say, has a variety of
Okay.
of movie, a kaleidoscope of different movies. And so, what would you say, Steven Soderbergh, best
Oh.
and worst, and why?
Okay. Well, it's easier for me to list the best. Might be a little bit harder than I would think, because most of his recent stuff isn't that great. What was his most recent work like? That one, the iPhone movie, right? Unsane.
Unfriend, yeah.
Yeah, Unsane. I know he did a lot of stuff for Netflix, like High Flying
Mhm.
Bird, which like I would never go back to. The Laundromat,
Report.
which is okay. It's probably gonna be. Oh yeah, without a doubt, it's gonna be Traffic. Yeah, like
Okay.
endlessly
Okay, right,
quotable
right.
movie by me and Dad. We always laugh when we quote like General Salazar or anything Benicio del Toro.
To us, it's like the Big Lebowski. Like,
Yeah, it's a
our
comedy.
Big Lebowski somehow. Like it's not intended to be dark comedy, but to us, it's
Yeah,
like
because it's
clearly
like
dark comedy or just massively dark comedy.
to me and Dad,
Yeah.
it's obviously like an inside joke, so we just laugh every time we quote it.
Yeah.
And it's a great movie. Like objectively, it's just such a great hyperlink movie. One of the first Steven Soderbergh movies I saw in theaters maybe. So, but up there with it like Sex Lies and Videotape, and maybe the limey, something low key. But okay, something okay. His worst. Let me think. You're gonna answer this question too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think. Worst. That's kind of tough. But I want to say one of his like more experimental movies, like Kafka. No, you know what? I'm gonna say Schizopolis because I remember seeing that because he stars in it. He wrote, directed, and starred in it, and it's kind of a weird screwball comedy, very experimental. It's all over the place. Like, I don't know what I was expecting, but when I watched it, I didn't laugh. Um, I didn't know what he was trying to do, and I was just thoroughly confused. So, yeah, definitely Schizopolis is the worst for me. So, what about you? I'm very curious to hear what yours are.
Okay. Oh well, okay. Well, I mean, I have to kind of have it a tie. I mean, but it's kind of not maybe a fair comparison because I would say though my Traffic is has a nostalgic place in my heart. But as far as his works, I mean, I just love the Nick.
Hmm?
I know it's not a
But
movie,
that's
but
not a
as far as
movie.
what he did, was that?
That's not a movie, though.
I know, but it's like his content. You know what I
Okay,
mean? Like,
okay.
Traffic is just there as number one easily for the movie. But
Hmm.
when I think of Soderbergh material, then I have to just mention Nick in there as far as one of his best because I'm not a big fan of TV. I
Yeah.
know you're a bigger fan of TV, and then there's not many miniseries that really grab me. Like things like Mindhunters, like those are like the quality ones I really like. I know you were just talking about rewatching like Hannibal. A lot of people have very passion. There's passionate followings for certain TV
Yeah,
shows,
yeah, yeah.
popular, unpopular. But yeah, yeah. Well, the Nick, 2 seasons, Clive Owen.
Yeah.
It brought in that Cliff Martinez
Mm.
music,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's now what I see or I feel more is connected to
Yeah.
a Soderbergh movie, which Traffic doesn't
Nice.
have, and I can almost feel the pulsation.
Actually, that original score is by Cliff Martinez for Traffic.
Oh, is it really?
It's not like bombarded
Yeah. Oh,
like you are
okay, I
with
see.
Contagion or the Nick, but I know what you mean. It's subtle. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I,
it
I didn't
is
know that.
scored by
I
Cliff
actually didn't know
Martinez.
that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just probably scored by some traditional
Nope.
composer,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know it was Martinez. Okay, so Martinez definitely took a big
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
creative change in terms of what
Yeah,
he's been
yeah.
pushing.
For sure. All right.
Worst
What's
for
your
me is
worst? Yeah.
High Flying Bird. I
Okay. Well,
love. I'm a big fan of Andre Holland.
Andre Hall. Yeah, yeah.
Of the Nick.
Of the Nick,
Yes, the
of the
Nick,
Nick fame.
and of recently the Eddie,
Yeah, yeah,
the David Chazelle Netflix series.
yeah.
I like him a lot as an actor. Moonlight, for
Moonlight.
those
Yeah,
who
yeah, yeah.
probably haven't seen him in anything, but yeah, again, it followed that digital, the Apple phone, which he kind of I think introduced an Unsane, which I liked,
Yeah.
which I thought worked for a horror movie. But I found excuse me, I found the pacing and the scope and the general story of High Flying Bird, to be semi throwaway or just
Yeah.
decent effort.
It's very repetitive and kind of just like what was he? It's unfocused. Like, what is he trying to do? Like, I see another movie that kind of harkens back to me when I think of High Flying Bird is the Girlfriend Experience. It's kind of
Hmm.
like this glimpse into like you know a portrait of this person's life, but obviously the Girlfriend Experience is a more intriguing subject matter. You know what I mean? So he
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
got away with it. But High Flying Bird, I was like, what? Like on paper that sounds great. Like an agent, a sports agent, and like a basketball player. That should have been great. But yeah, I don't know what he did.
Sounds like a Jerry
Yeah,
Maguire
yeah,
kind
Jerry
of
Maguire.
something
But
like
like,
yeah.
yeah, for to me, it's not his worst, but it's definitely a letdown for me too. Yeah.
So okay, so let's move on to yeah. So yeah, speaking of Jerry Maguire, so yeah, let's pick on Tom Cruise, another guy who's had a storied career.
Okay, awesome.
Like two best and two worst because he has
Too
two
bad.
good movies. Two
Okay,
movies.
okay, okay. Are you gonna go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, yeah,
Let me
yeah.
see.
It gives
Yeah,
me
I'll go
time to
first.
think. Yeah, okay.
Born on the 4th of July.
Oh, that's gonna be
Right away.
mine.
I
That's
love that movie.
that's your
I
best.
love that
Okay.
movie. Yeah, I mean, like that's when I think
Oh,
of
but you're
Tom
gonna
Cruise
have
and
two. You
dramatic
have two.
acting. That's because like it's kind of like I think of like old, younger Tom Cruise and like older Tom Cruise, right? And that he proved his chops. And he knew he could do that, but he became a movie star,
Yeah.
And then, and now and the second favorite movie I like as a movie star, um, Collateral.
Hmm.
Easily. Again, dramatic acting. He's already a movie star. He's got the charisma. He sells it because he's Tom Cruise. He's trying to go for something different, but also, playing a bad guy is fun. Most actors like that, and when his shot at it was quite good. And within this, I just saw it again recently. The Michael Mann movie, Jamie Foxx. I mean, both so excellent. But yeah, again, just submitted those they're dramatic roles, obviously, but this, again, people forget that he can do that almost quite easily,
Yeah.
compared to his contemporaries, like, let's say, like Vin Diesel and The Rock, who are extremely charismatic, but I don't really think have the acting chops.
Hmm.
So those are two best. Two worst, Mission Impossible 3. Well, two. Sorry, Mission Impossible 2, the John Woo one. Man, I did not like that movie when it came out. Worse than Mission Impossible still to me. I love John Woo, but it's just the translation of things just didn't work in that movie. I've even rewatched it recently with the big 4K release. Still not a fan. Still one of the weaker entries. The Mission Impossible series usually has got now every movie's gotten better, which is with Christopher McQuarrie behind the camera is quite an amazing franchise. So, Mission Impossible 2, and I haven't seen his movie since, but I remember not liking Days of Thunder.
Okay.
Yeah, just again, he's so good in so many of these movies,
Yeah.
even in lesser movies like World of Worlds. But Days of Thunder, I thought, again, just like, and his accent was bad, and it's just so
Yeah.
such a forgettable movie when I
Sure.
feel like it could have been a classic.
I've seen that movie like once. So I don't remember his bad accent. I didn't even know he had an accent. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to mention Born on the 4th of July, but you took it from me, so I wanted to do something different. But it's also like his more of like a show off his acting chops movie, which is Magnolia.
Yeah.
So that's one of my best, and it's interesting because we talked about this in our best of 1999 movies, where I talked about my number one movie was Eyes Wide Shut, where he spent about like 2 or 3 years on that set. So like he was dedicated. This is like the top of his stardom, and he starred in a Stanley Kubrick film. Like he was on top of the world. But at the same time, he didn't really get to emote in that movie. He just played like a guy who just like stared and was like paranoid all the time. So like, and then I mentioned also on that podcast, which you guys can listen to, on the Lazerboy, but that the film he did after that was kind of like a refresher for him, which was Magnolia, and he actually got to act and actually got to emote and really spread his acting chops. So Magnolia is his acting best for me. His movie star best for me is going to be Minority Report, because I love that when it came out. I also think that like it like solidified him as an action megastar, but he's not a typical action movie star in here. He has depth. He's the prototypical like James Stewart from like a Hitchcock movie. He's like an innocent man, but who's running from the law. He has depth to this action star, which is quite rare actually. So Minority Report is a great movie. I love that movie. Two worst. Yeah, I can't really. Obviously, like The Mummy. I didn't really like that movie.
Oh, yeah.
So and let me think of like an older movie. Maybe Cocktail, because like he just started, and it's just like him being like a pretty boy face, and he's not really an actor yet. He's just like a model, So
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I don't either. I haven't. It's been so long since I've seen it, or maybe I haven't seen it. Because I have very little recollection of that. I thought you were gonna say something like Vanilla Sky or something.
I actually really like Vanilla Sky.
You do?
I really like it. Yeah.
I mean, see, that's what's the beauty of like Tom Cruise movies, that someone's favorite could be someone's worst. Like someone could say they hate Jerry Maguire, but someone else could say they love it.
I don't know if you could say that about The Mummy though, but.
I don't think that could be I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
That was like an obvious flop.
That's how bad it was. You forgot about it.
But it's almost kind of hard to think of. It's not like a movie you don't like. It's just a lesser movie of his.
Yeah.
And like Mission Impossible 2 to me is just like a lesser movie, whereas the other Mission Impossible are quite good.
Hmm.
Almost all other action movies. But for some reason, I thought you were gonna say when you said, "Oh, he needed a refresher," I thought you were gonna say Tropic Thunder. When you play.
I have not seen that movie, and was it you who keeps telling me to watch it? But one of my friends keeps telling me to watch it, but I forgot that he's in it. How long is he in it for? How much screen time does he have?
Oh, very little. He just
Oh,
plays like this
it's a cameo.
despicable, like
Okay.
like fat suit producer guy. That it was like he was just having fun.
Okay.
Like 'cause we hardly ever get to see him as a kind of a despicable guy.
Right.
Like very, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Collateral, like I said,
Yeah,
that's probably one of
Collateral.
the rare times you see him just
And Magnolia.
yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, Magnolia. But rarely, and I guess Born on 4th of July, where you see
Yeah, yeah.
the other side of him.
When
Like
he
his
hits rock
ugly
bottom,
side.
yeah, I love that movie. When he's just like
Yeah,
that part where he's like when he comes home and he's all drunk and he's like his
yeah.
mom curses at him when he says penis and he's like penis, great big bloody penis or something like that. So good.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. That movie's terrific. Like, an
Absolutely,
absolute
one of my
gem.
favorite Oliver Stone movies.
I can't wait to I can't wait for something like that to be being re-released on 4K. I hope they get to that.
Yeah.
The catalog title.
You have
Yeah,
another
so
actor or director that we want to do, or
well, yeah, let's save it for next time. I mean,
okay, sure.
There's
Yeah, that was
so
fun. It
many
was
movies
really
to go
fun
through.
actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So like there's another actor I have in mind already that would be another great selection. I'm sure now that we've done one, you nominate yours next time. We're
okay,
always trying
yeah,
to keep this rotating as far as a director, actor. Yeah, for the most part. We can say studio next time too.
okay, yeah, sounds
We're on
good.
A24 and
Yeah,
talk about like their hits and misses.
yeah,
All
we
right, Joe.
talked for
So
a
I mean,
bit long now.
that's all
So
I got. Any last words from you?
no, 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 no. Just check out our blog. If you guys want to look at some more home theater stuff, check out Dat's blog. Check out my one solo blog. I think Dat has like four, so definitely check those out. Do you want to add anything else?
No, yeah, I'll be adding more. If we get any comments or suggestions, I'm willing to listen to those and sharing my insights on more home theater stuff.
Okay, sounds good. So for now, everyone out there, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.